Broadcasting live from Rivendell on the plane of Middle-earth, this is TapTapConcede. Welcome, everybody, to TapTapConcede. My name is Graham, and joining me is Kathleen.
Hello.
And that's it.
Just us.
Yeah.
Well, my cool air boot.
And Kathleen's cool air boot. Well, James is on tech as well, so James is also
thank you,
here.
James.
And today we're talking about some of the current released spoilers preview cards for Lord of the Rings. What's the full name of this? Magic the Gathering, Universes Beyond, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. TM. And before we do that, a reminder, of course, the show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Check out cardkingdom.com/LRR for all of your Card Kingdom needs, all of your cardboard needs. Pre-order yourself some Lord of the Rings, because honestly, this set looks sweet. Tell them Loading Ready Run sent me, button please, and they'll give you a little 1-inch button that says a funny thing, and we've sent a new batch into them, and I don't know which one they have going at the moment, but something. Also, this show and everything we do is brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Or if you're watching on YouTube, by giving super thanks, which is impossible for me to say without sounding sarcastic, because it's a very silly name, but we nonetheless appreciate the support.
We super appreciate it. See, like it sounds sarcastic to even say it.
We super appreciate your super thanks.
But we do. Thanks for giving us money so we can do this for a living.
Yeah, no, it makes literally all the difference. So we're deep into spoiler preview territory for Lord of the Rings. In fact, we actually, because this is going to air on Monday the 5th, yeah, and we actually have a preview card on the 7th, which means it may come out, because it has to be 7th Eastern time, which means it can come out as early as 9 p.m. Pacific on the 6th, but that's not to guarantee that it's going to. It might come out on the 7th or even later on the 7th. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, we have a preview card, so...
and then, 2 days later, we have a PPR.
And then, more importantly, thank you, James. More importantly, on the 10th, we have the pre-release for Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. It's going to be great. It's from Loading Ready Run, myself, Kathleen, Cameron, Ben, and Wheeler. Wheeler, I think, is the most invested in Lord of the Rings of the crew.
I mean, Cameron's also read the books.
That's true. I've read the books, just I don't remember any of them. But special guests, we've got Power Dragon, who honestly we've been trying to get up to a PPR for ages. We've got Zebex, cosplayer extraordinaire, and Chase Carroll, aka Mana Curves. So great bunch of guests. We're really excited about it, and we're really excited to get to play some Lord of the Rings. Because again, this set looks really cool. They did their debut stream video the other day, featuring a bunch of people, diving in, checking out the cards. They also did a really cute video with Elijah Wood opening a booster pack, which was super fun. It was really nice. I love Elijah Wood. Love seeing that. I did think it was a little strange because that's clearly an ad that they're hoping to get new people who might not play Magic, but like Lord of the Rings. They're trying to, entice into playing some Magic. And having literal Elijah Wood there does sort of give the impression that these are going to be the likenesses from the Peter Jackson movies, and they're absolutely not. A reminder in case because when the card You Cannot Pass was spoiled, people were like, well, that's a misquote. And it's like, no, because that's from the book, because these are one of the many interpretations that exist of the books, the Peter Jackson movies. Despite the long shadow that they cast across popular culture, they are also merely one interpretation. And so, for example, you might notice that Frodo on these cards does not look like Frodo in the movies, or even necessarily the Ralph Bakshi adaptation or other illustrations you might have seen. But that's fine, because what Frodo looks like has absolutely no bearing on the character that he is or the story that he undertakes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And if you are a big fan of the books, as I have done some research on them, in the books, Frodo is supposed to be 40. He's middle-aged.
Yeah.
He's mature and old by the time he goes out on this quest. And obviously this is a younger depiction of Frodo. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone can. There's many different variations of the Lord of the Rings that can be experienced through different artistic interpretations, and this happens to be one of them. I have no idea where to start. So I don't know, James. Do you have anything that you think is pretty interesting to?
Ooh, can we bring up Shadowfax, Lord of Horses?
Oh, yes, Horse Lord.
Yeah, I just want to say, I mean, obviously this has nothing to do with anything that I like, but I do love that there is now a Horse Lord.
You're a big fan of the band Horse
Yeah,
Lords.
This. But honestly, like, I know that people have been wanting some sort of like horse lord or a horse commander. I know Wheeler is building a horse commander deck, so I know people are very excited about Shadowfax. Shadowfax, if you're not familiar, is 3 red white for a 4/4. Horses you control have haste. And whenever Shadowfax, Lord of Horses, attacks, you may put a creature card with lesser power from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. So just a baby Winata.
That's really good.
That's really powerful.
I think that this isn't uncommon, by the way.
Yeah, do you need a second Winota?
And it's all horses, including Shadowfax. So it's
Yes.
5 mana.
Can
You play Shadowfax, immediately attack, and then potentially also get something with 3 power or less, also immediately attacking. That seems very, very good.
there's a lot of like good
Uncommon.
cards. Yeah. That seems very aggressive.
Here's the thing, is because, there's a lot of legendary creatures in this set because
makes
it's
sense.
a story, and like on some level, all the every creature, especially the way
All the-
Tolkien writes, every creature, even like just random orcs, have
names and backstories.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
stuff like that. Yeah.
So it's they had to be really they had to really pick and choose with like what things they were gonna make not be legendary, but so that's why there's Shadowfax is uncommon because there's so many, especially because like the Fellowship each have like three different variants of them, but there is an additional legendary horse.
There's an additional legendary horse in this set. Oh yes, the one that everybody's popping off about because it's the meme horse.
Yes, it's Bill the Pony, legendary creature type horse, but it is Bill the Pony, and
Pony's just a small horse,
yeah,
hobbit sized.
3 and a white for a 1/4. When Bill the Pony enters the battlefield, create 2 food tokens, because Bill's got the food.
Yep.
And you can sacrifice a food until end of turn. Target creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power.
You give him a cabbage and he kicks something in the face.
Exactly what I was thinking. Just wham! Ow! That's so great. Also uncommon.
Yeah. People love Bill, eh?
Oh yeah, everyone loves Bill the Pony.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay. We have seen. Have we seen all the Gandalfs now? I think maybe we have.
Ooh.
Let's check out Gandalf White Rider, because this is
Ooh.
one of the more recently spoiled ones, and I hadn't seen it until, honestly, just now.
Oh.
3 and a white also for a 3/3 Avatar Wizard with Vigilance. Whenever you cast a spell, I'm going to repeat that. Whenever you cast a spell, just any spell,
Creatures or spells?
creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. Scry 1.
Oh.
Bonus.
You can keep casting spells.
When Gandalf White Rider dies, you may put it into its owner's library, 5th from the top.
Ah, yes. Yeah, he's not dead. He's coming back. Don't worry. He just arrives precisely when he means to.
Are there 4 Gandalfs then? Because here's
Gandalf the
the thing,
Grey.
is because there's also the commander set, and there's ones that are in the commander set that aren't necessarily
Yes, there's the
in the main set.
Commandolfs.
This one's in the main set. Commandolfs. This one's in the main set. So there's Gandalf, Friend of the Shire. This one was spoiled a while back, but just as a reminder, it's 3 and a blue for a 2/4 with flash. You can cast sorceries as though they had flash, so it's quicken on a stickin'. And whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Gandalf as your ring bearer, draw a card, because Gandalf doesn't want the ring. So there's that Gandalf, and then there's, actual Gandalf the Grey, when he's off doing wizard stuff. 3 blue red. This one was also spoiled a while ago. For a 3/4 Avatar Wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, choose one that has not been chosen. You may tap or untap target permanent. Gandalf deals 3 damage to each opponent. copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets, or put Gandalf on top of its owner's library. So he can just. I love that it's like mess with a thing, throw a fireball at something, copy a spell, and then literally go to the library to do research.
Yeah.
And come back later.
Yep.
I love that. And then is there just there is actually also just a Gandalf the White. So 3 white for a 4/5 with flash. Surprise.
That makes sense.
You may cast legendary and artifact spells as though they had flash. If a legendary, permanent, or an artifact entering or leaving the battle... I'm going to start that whole ability again. If a legendary, permanent, or an artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. That's messed up.
I feel like that's a good commander.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like I have no it's like, like a monkey looking up at that 2001 monolith, right? So it's just like, oh, this seems significant.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit it with my... Like, I feel like,
This is important for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. I can see in my mind the shape of a degenerate deck, but I can't figure out what cards would be the best for it.
Yeah. So that's it, though, right? So far that we know of, there's 4 Gandalfs in the main set. Is there further Gandalfs in the commander sets? Maybe are there Commandalfs? I don't know. Oh, you know what people have been telling me about a lot.
What?
My mentions have been blowing up. New Tree Folk just dropped. Actually more than one. But let me talk specifically about Fangorn Tree Shepherd, aka Treebeard.
Yes.
According to the flavor text, I am an Ent. Fangorn is my name according to some. Treebeard others make it. So same tree. 4 green for a 4/10 legendary Tree Folk. Tree Folk you control have vigilance. Whenever one or more Tree Folk you control attack, add twice that much green, and you don't lose unspent green mana as steps and phases end.
Do you make this the commander of your Tree Folk deck, or is 7 too expensive to start at?
This is a different deck, I think. Because the current Tree Folk deck that I have with Sapling of Kulfanor, that's green-black. And I think that it should be the commander of a different mono-green Tree Folk deck.
Some sort of big green?
Yeah.
I feel like, this is big green.
I got to get my hands on a henge.
Yes, you do.
They're so expensive. But, there's also Quick Beam Upstart Ent.
Oh, yeah.
4 green for a 5/6, legendary. Whenever Quick Beam or another Tree Folk enters the battlefield under your control, up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+2 and trample until end of turn.
Huh.
We're making Tree Folk happen. Also, I want to mention Last March of the Ents.
Quick Beam seems really good and limited.
Yeah, Quick Beam seems like a lot of fun. Last March of the Ents is 6 green for a sorcery that can't be countered. And it's draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control, then put any number of creature cards from your graveyard onto the battlefield.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's
from your hand. You said graveyard.
Why did I say graveyard? Why did I say graveyard?
I don't know.
Good morning. Yes. Any number of creature cards from your hand. Why? That graveyard would also be powerful, but
Graveyard
this
would be busted.
Graveyard would be too powerful.
Too powerful.
Someone write that down for later. But no, this yeah.
You have to cast 12 mana.
So you draw, say, for example, you've got Fangorn out. So it's like, oh, draw 10, put all these creatures into play. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about hopes and dreams and wishes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Actually, can I talk about low-key a card that is very busted, or at least may cause problems in Commander? I saw a lot of people talking about this. It's just a common. It's just a little...
That's just a little guy, an innocent man?
Little bat.
Oh, yes. Not an innocent man at all.
No. Mirkwood Bats. 3 and a black for a 2/3 flying bat. What's so scary about that? Well, whenever you create or sacrifice a token. Each opponent loses 1 life.
So it's got some synergy in the limited environment because there's a lot of food that you want to create, and lots of creatures bring food, and then you want to eat your food. So I feel in limited, and it flies, so it's going to really get you there. Does this go in aristocrats, Graham?
This seems like a way to kill everyone in Commander real quick.
Oh, I think this is a way to paint a target on your back real quick.
Because it's like, if you have a way to like make a bunch of treasure, I don't know if anyone has any ways to make a bunch of treasure in Commander. If you can think of any ways to make a bunch of treasure in Commander, let us know in the comments.
Let me know about that other deck I want to make.
This was Dockside Extortionist. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you make 5 treasure, for example, that's 10 because you make the treasure and then you can sacrifice the treasure, and then you're just not draining, but you're just dealing 10 damage to all your opponents. This card's kind of scary.
There's a saga called There and Back Again.
Oh, yeah.
That plays very well with the Mirkwood Bats. Red and black are friends. So it says up to 1 target creature can't block for as long as you control There and Back Again. The ring tempts you. Okay.
Sure.
Search your library for a mountain card. Sure. Create Smogue, a legendary 6/6 dragon creature token with flying haste, and when this creature dies, create 14 treasure tokens. What did I say wrong?
No, nothing. I was just saying that's 1 token. And then what was the death ability?
Create 14 treasure tokens. So I don't know if there's a fling in the set. You could kill them. You could kill them by, you have Mirkwood Bats there at 20 life. You go to chapter 3 on this, make Smogue, fling them at them, and then dome them for 14. Instant kill.
That's amazing.
I don't think that will ever, that is such a very specific setup. If you ever manage to pull that line off to kill your opponent out of nowhere with a Mirkwood Bats in this, I mean, it wouldn't be out of nowhere. They'd see it coming the turn before, right?
That's very, very cool.
Yeah, because you need to have the Mirkwood Bats on the table before you made Smogue to get... Anyhow, the point being, there's 20 damage right there. Or you could just hit them with it.
That's
hit them with your 6/6, because it's got haste.
Yeah. Oh, I see. There's a different page for the Commander stuff. So something cool that I think they're doing in the Commander decks is that they have... I don't know if these are these box toppers, or are they in this... I think these are special ones, but they're doing the sort of the... We got to come up with a better name for these, because so far we just keep calling them the Godzilla style cards, where it's like it's a reprint with a fancy name.
That's an increasingly useless descriptor for what they're doing here.
Yeah, well, because they've done it for they did it for like the Dracula cards as well. But like, for example, Balin's Tomb, right, is Ancient Tomb.
Oh,
It's just Ancient Tomb,
okay.
but it's called Balin's Tomb.
Right.
And they've got, what are they doing? Ancient Tomb, Shadow Spear is the Morgul Knife.
Oh, okay.
Bajuka Bog is the Barrow Downs.
Yeah, that all tracks.
There's a lot, actually. Rings of Brighthearth is 3 rings for the Elven Kings.
Oh, that's perfect. It already had rings in the name.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Boseiju, Cloudstone Curio. Oh, Cavern of Souls. Cavern of Souls is perfect. Cavern of Souls is Paths of the Dead. It's the same. It's a cavern full of soul. It's the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
The Ozolith is Argonath, Pillar of the Kings. Pillars of the Kings. Oh, yeah, right. Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth, is Fangorn Forest.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that. I think those are specialty box toppers in the... or something. I'm honestly not entirely sure. There's so many of these things.
How do you get these cards? We don't know.
I'm not sure.
Are we
offhand.
paid to... Are we supposed to know these things? Because, that's part of our job? Yes. Is it perhaps a little bit confusing to figure out how to get these things?
Also, yes.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh, hey, also from the Commander decks, is they say the name of the thing in the thing. It's Sauron, Lord of the Rings.
Oh!
He's the Lord. It's the Lord of the Rings. 5 blue, black, red for a 9/9 Avatar horror. When you cast this spell, amass Orcs 5. Mill 5 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Also, it has trample. Whenever a commander an opponent controls dies, the ring tempts you.
Oh my goodness.
Also, I want to mention, because this ability is in the main set too. They brought back amass.
Yes.
And I think this is great. This is flavorfully. This is awesome. So it's amass Orcs specifically. Now, before it was amass, and it was
Zombies, because it was the Lazatep army that Bolas brought to Ravnica during War of the Spark.
yes, and it's funny the way that it works, and it's one of those things that, like, if you read the reminder text on amass or amass Orcs, then it should be clear that it works this way. But in case you're curious, this is how it works. In the instance where you're making an amass deck or something, and you have cards from War of the Spark and Lord of the Rings, if you have, for example, a zombie army from a War of the Spark card, and then you amass Orcs, you put that number of counters on the army you have, and then that zombie army is now a zombie orc army.
Yeah, they don't start their own platoons. They
No.
all come together into one big one.
It's one army. It's interesting. Mark Rosewater had to clarify this on his on the Blogatog Tumblr. Someone asked a question, and he actually answered it incorrectly, and then was like, "Whoop! I have confirmed with the rules manager that I was wrong, and this is why." So it's kind of interesting because the amass thing is just looking for an army you control.
The only time that you can have two armies is you have an army and a changeling.
That's true. Yes, you could choose to amass onto
The changeling.
a changeling. That's a good point.
But otherwise, the game does not let you create two armies.
I wonder if they regret that.
What, the changeling thing?
No, the fact that they didn't originally call it like amass zombies.
I was wondering if that ability is going to get like an errata to be amass zombies.
Probably.
It's kind of weird that, like, if you have two zombie armies, a 2/2 zombie, and then you amass orcs, they join the zombies, and that's very strange and not actually that intuitive.
No, it's not.
Like, at all.
I will point out that Mark Rosewater answered it wrong the first time, so it's like, ooh. I mean, I'm sure they made the rule like that for a very specific reason, but my natural inclination is your zombie army and your orc army are separate.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they figure all forces of evil are pretty cooperative with one another. They don't need to be kept apart.
We've got two fancy birds.
Yes, we do.
We've got Meneldor.
Oh.
Meneldor, Swift Savior, 3 and a blue for a 3/3 bird soldier with flying. Whenever Swift Savior deals combat damage to a player, exile up to one target creature you own, then return it to the battlefield under your control. So on the outside shot that they've stolen something of yours, you can get it back if you hit them. So that's neat.
Is there an active treason in this set? We don't know yet.
I mean, but active treason only lasts till end of turn. Anyway, the point is, that's interesting. It's sort of doing King Brago stuff, which is neat. And then there's an even more legendary bird, Gwaihir the Windlord.
Yes.
We think is the name. Currently, it's doesn't have an English printing that's been spoiled, but the translation per Scryfall is Gwaihir. I mean, we know it's Gwaihir because that's a character from the book.
Yeah,
but anyway,
that's the eagle that rescues Gandalf from the top of the tower.
I think so, yeah.
Sent by Galadriel.
Legendary creature, Bird Noble. It's got like a little crown there, which is cool. This spell costs 2 less to cast if you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. So that's, I assume, is this a signpost uncommon? Is there a draw 2 cards mechanic?
There's got to be. This has to be a signpost uncommon for this. Like, that's how they design sets these days, is that they're like, hello, this uncommon that has a cool ability that references other cards that work well with it.
It's also, I should say, it's got flying and vigilance, and your other birds get vigilance. So, Bird Lord.
Flying vigilance 4/4 is very good.
Yeah.
If you can cast it for 4, that's even better.
If you can cast it for 4, that's preposterous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned one of the sagas.
Yes.
There's a bunch of sagas, and some of them, or most of them actually, seem to be, and I love this, events that took place before the beginning of Lord of the Rings, the book.
Yeah, it's all the old history.
Yeah, which is cool because like I didn't think that because this is just Lord of the Rings. It's not the Hobbit, and it's not the appendices, and it's not the Silmarillion.
No.
But in Lord of the Rings,
I'm
they
not sure
talk
the
about.
appendices would make such an exciting magic set.
But in the Lord of the Rings, they talk about other stuff that happened. Do you know what the Bath song is?
I do.
No way.
I looked at. Okay.
Okay, sweet.
So
I'll read the card. You tell me what it is.
Okay.
It's 3 and a blue for a saga. It's got 3 chapters. The first 2 are the same, and they are draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Cool. That seems great. 4 mana? Okay. Chapter 3, shuffle any number of cards from your library into your graveyard, add blue. That doesn't seem like staggeringly powerful, but yeah. What am Bath song?
I mean, it's a song you sing when you're in the bath.
Oh.
One sec. I just need to look up something because I have extensive notes on this. Because maybe we'll see this during the PPR, maybe we won't. I asked to do some little like bits of lore, some
Lore bits.
lore bits. Well, I was trying to portmanteau it, and I just came up with bore. So I was like, oh no.
Bits of lore or bore.
Yeah, exactly.
I disagree.
Okay. According to my notes, now this is just rough. It's like, Graham, that's a great question about why there's a saga called the Bath Song. And it's mostly just because baths are cool and it's fun. But actually because Lord of the Rings has a lot of poems in it. And I think Tolkien just liked an excuse to write poems. So where does this poem show up? Well, after a stressful beginning to their journey... After a stressful beginning of their journey through the Shire, Frodo, Sam, and Pippin finally get to Crick Hollow, which is one of their first stops. And Merry is going to meet them there. And so they meet Merry at this little like house that Frodo's supposedly going to retire in, even though he's told everybody he's going to retire in this house. But what he's actually doing is he's going on this epic quest. But Merry's gotten there and he's readied 3 waiting baths and a copper full of hot water. And then they're so excited to finally have a nice hot bath. Pippin sings one of Bilbo's favorite bath songs. Sing hey for the bath at the close of the day that washes the weary mud away. A loon is he that will not sing. Oh, water hot is a noble thing. I'm just sort of, this is how I think this should be sung. Oh, sweet is the sound of falling rain, and the brook that leaps from hill to plain. But better than rain or rippling streams is the water hot that smokes and steams. Oh, water cold we may pour at need down a thirsty throat and be glad indeed. But better is beer if drink we lack, and water hot poured down the back. Oh, water is fair that leaps on high in a fountain white beneath the sky. But never did a fountain sound so sweet as splashing hot But never did a fountain sound so sweet as splashing hot water with my feet. At this point, Pippin gets carried away and sloshes water everywhere.
I love the idea that it's like, water's great. Think of all the great things you could do with water. Better if it's beer. It's better as beer.
Yeah.
But if it's not beer, it's still great. That's what a great song.
Yeah, apologies.
Don't bathe in beer. That seems like a bad idea.
For that, there's
Probably
a
just need another
misaligned
bath
return on the last one, so I goozled myself reading the last line.
If water's great, misaligned return. Oh wait.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So that's the bath song, and that's the context from the book. And it just turns out that J.R.R. Tolkien loved writing poems and wanted to write poems.
Yeah. Well, hey, something that the set has up over the films is Tom Bombadil.
Yes, that's true.
Speaking of these sagas, actually, this works really well.
A whole bunch of like Tom Bombadil got skipped in the films entirely. That whole section, but
probably correctly for the purposes of a movie.
Yeah, it's just kind of there. But this set has all sorts of Tom Bombadil stuff.
Yeah. So Tom Bombadil Whimswelf, is all 5 colors. And there's a good reason for that. White, blue, black, red, green. That's it. 5 mana, all 5 colors for a 4/4 God Bard. Which I think is sort of going off of, if I remember correctly when this was first spoiled, this is kind of going off of a fan theory, or at least a theory. I don't know if it's a fan theory necessarily, but like a theory that's never necessarily been like totally confirmed, that Tom Bombadil like is, I can't remember the Lord of the Rings name for it. I think I said this in the previous podcast, like an alluvian or something, like that he is basically a god, right?
The same kind of creature that the wizards are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just putting it on the card like this is just very entertaining. It's like, we're just, for the purposes of our game, he's a god. For the purposes of Magic, we're just going to go with that theory. Here's what Tom Bombadil does practically in the game. As long as there are 4 or more lore counters among sagas you control, Tom Bombadil has hexproof and indestructible. When the final chapter ability of a saga you control resolves, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a saga. Put that onto the battlefield and the rest of them at the bottom of your library in any order. This ability triggers only once each turn. So you get to just chain stories. He just talks your ear off about all these sagas.
Yep.
This 5-color saga nonsense in Commander sounds like a ton of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see this deck.
Can we see the Bath song again for a second?
Yeah. So it's chapter 1, draw 2, discard 1.
That's it. It's that's why this is here. It's because the signpost uncommon for drawing multiple cards a turn.
Right.
That's why you want this rather unimpressive looking saga, because it turns on all your other creatures.
Well, it is card draw and card selection.
That's
which
true.
is nice. And then you get to get stuff back out of your bin later and get bonus mana.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right. Yes.
Yes.
It all works.
I don't know if you're in limited if you want to build around Tom Bombadil though. 5 colors, no payoff unless you have sagas.
But what about even more colors? Except not actually even more colors. It's actually less colors, even though it says many colors. It's Sauron.
Oh, yes.
Of many colors.
Oh, yes.
3 white, blue, black. That's not as many as Tom Bombadil, but it's, it's 3. Avatar Wizard. Ward. This is a messed up ward cost. There's some weird ward costs in this set. Ward, discard an enchantment, instant, or sorcery card.
You can't even target it unless you have another instant, sorcery, or enchantment.
How are you going to pay that?
Oh, that's so gross.
Whenever you cast, don't worry, there's more to the card. It's a 5/4 also. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, each opponent mills 2 cards. When 1 or more cards are milled this way, exile target enchantment, instant, or sorcery with equal or lesser mana value than that spell from an opponent's graveyard. Copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost.
So how this works is you cast your second spell.
Yeah.
Say it costs 4.
Yeah.
Your opponent mills 2 cards.
Each opponent
mills 2 cards. And so then you can take any opponent's graveyard. It could say, okay, my second spell cost 4. Oh, I will exile your Deadly Derision and copy it for free.
Yeah. Gross.
Yeah. Seems good, man. God, just to even get it, you've got to discard. You've got to pay 2 cards.
That's messed up.
2 cards with action.
Mm-hmm. Sauron also has a weird ward ability. One of the Saurons in the set. I don't know how many Saurons there are, but at very least there's multiple Saurons.
So there's Sauron and Saruman. What is this, Elden Ring?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I still remember, again, from the movies, Christopher Lee doing the power of Sauron and Saruman. And it's like, oh yeah, those do sound very similar, don't they?
Yeah. Tip off that one of you was going to become a bad guy eventually.
Yeah. If only we'd thought about it. This was spoiled at MagicCon, so I know that it's out there. Sauron the Dark Lord. There we go. Thank you. 3 blue, black, red for a 7/6 Avatar horror with Ward, sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature. Brutal. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, amass Orcs 1. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw 4 cards. That's so messed up. That's, yeah, okay, cool.
These are some nasty creatures.
Yeah,
Help removal's good in this set.
I hope so too.
Although I feel like the removal is based on like everyone's going to be wanting to turn man sideways because they want that ring because they've got a ring bearer that they've got all sorts of attack like bonuses for attacking, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's player based removal rather than creature based removal.
Well, maybe. Get that ring. I want to talk about a meme card. Well, it's not the card itself is not really a meme. It's just that there is a popular it's Grond. We're talking about Grond.
Grond.
The Lord of the Rings memes subreddit, which is mostly based on the movies, has a bot. They have a Grond bot that just chants Grond in all caps. This is Grond, the Gatebreaker. If I recall correctly, and it's been a while, I don't know, James, do you remember this? Grond was only in the extended edition? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
It was like a big,
I do remember.
it looked like a
It's got the head of a wolf.
yeah, it looked like a
Yeah,
big sort of like metal pig wolf.
It's definitely in the movie. I can't remember if it's. I've only ever. I mean, probably because I've only ever really, apart from the first time seeing it in theaters, I've only ever watched the extended editions. I think. So
Yeah.
it's probably in the extended editions.
I also looked up Grond.
Oh,
Here's my notes on Grond.
can I tell you about the card first?
Oh, sure, yes.
Okay, so it's a legendary vehicle.
That makes sense.
Not a lot of those, but it does make sense. 3 and a black for a 5/5 vehicle with trample. As long as it's your turn and you control an army, Grond is an artifact creature.
Oh.
I love that. It's just if you have an army, they can pilot Grond without needing to like climb inside.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's terrific flavor. Also, if you don't have an army, Grond just has crew 3. So crew 3 for a 5/5 trample for 4. This seems like a very, very efficient vehicle, honestly. And army doesn't have to be that big, and the army doesn't have to crew it. You just have to control it.
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
control an army of any size, and Grond's like, I'm a 5/5. What's up?
Yeah.
So tell me about Grond.
So I've written, great. Grond is great if you want to open the gates of Gondor or use in a battle in Pelennor fields. In other fields, you can get it too. Probably it may be a bit unwieldy. In the books, Grond is described as a huge ram, great as a forest tree 100 feet in length, swinging on mighty chains. Long had it been forging in the dark smithies of Mordor, and its hideous head, founded of black steel, was shaped in the likeness of a ravening wolf. On it spells of ruin lay. Grond they named it, in memory of the hammer of the underworld of old. Great beasts drew it, orcs surrounded it, and behind walked mountain trolls to wield it. And did you know, because J.R.R. Tolkien loved to do this, Grond means very weighty and ponderous in Sindarin.
Oh. So it's just called Chungus.
Yeah.
It's just like
This is Big Chungus.
it's like go get Chonker. We're gonna break the break the gate.
We gotta get the big old boy. Time for the weighty lad.
Go get Hefty, the battering ram. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Grond from the
Wow.
books. I don't remember. Okay, so I've never not read the books, but hey Graham, can I show you and by extension the viewers? We'll have a descriptive after this with the face that it's like, whoa, we need to research Lord of the Rings, and Kathleen discovers there's 3 wikis that she can look at to cross-check information.
Wait. Let's go to camera 5. Show me there are 3 wikis face. Oh, since you're pogging for real.
Because I am absolutely I was so excited. I was like, 3 wikis to cross-reference and an original text.
Amazing.
I mean, one's like just Wikipedia, but there's like 2 competing Lord of the Rings wikis that I found, and I was like, this is awesome. I can go back and forth and make sure everything is accurate. So, yeah. but and the original book. So I don't know anything about the books, but I did look up a bunch of stuff. So I was like, what is this? Why is there a thing? Why is there a bath song? Why is there a grand? Because I've seen the movies, but I can't like say like, this is gonna sound so rude. I don't love watching TV for a long time, and almost every time the Lord of the Rings movies have been presented to me, it's been like, all right, so we're going to do a marathon of all of the extended editions of Lord of the Rings. So we're going to be sitting and watching TV for 14 hours straight. And I'm like, I actually find the thought of that really unpleasant, and I don't want to do it. And it's kind of like put me off the movies. And I saw them when they came out in theaters, but it was like a long time ago, and I don't really remember them.
That now. I don't think I could do a full marathon. I mean, apart from just like life responsibilities and having a child, I don't think I should do that. But I don't think I could do all the extended editions back to back to back now for similar reasons. But I would like to watch them all again. I'm going to wait till after the PPR to avoid confusing myself. But I have them now finally on Blu-ray, so I am gonna watch them again soon. But I can't remember where I was going with that. Right, that's how I like to interact with 40K. Right, like I don't want to play it. I just want to read all the lore snippets.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't want to read all of J.R.R. Tolkien. But I don't mind like looking things up in like the appendices and cross-referencing things.
Yeah.
Realistically, my idea of fun is just completely twisted. It's like, Kathleen, we're going to watch movies all day. Beautiful movies that are beloved. Ooh. Hey, Kathleen, do you want to just look at a bunch of wikis? Yes.
We'll do it with you can just have we'll watch the movies. You can just have your laptop and be reading facts. Actually, brief aside, I did see a video of what I think is got to be like the best way to do. Someone was doing that marathon where they were watching all the movies, but they had, and you might have seen this, James. I don't know. They did. There's a lot of prior planning. Whenever there was food in the movies, they had that food.
They had that food
like ready to go.
Like some of those elven feasts.
Yeah. So like. When they're like at the Shire at the beginning, it's, they have like beers and breads and jams and things. And then, like later on when they're like, I don't know, it's like apples or whatever. But then, like later in like Return of the King, right? When it's like, we need serious dinner and like Denethor's eating. It's like, great, here we go. Cherry tomatoes all around, right? It's like just like half a pig or something. It was involved. Yeah. And of course, potato stew, but no, it was very impressive, and it's like, yes, that's how I want to do it. I want someone else to arrange the food.
Put me in charge of the food. I don't want to watch the movies.
Great. That sounds like too much work. I would never ask you to do that.
Well, you might not get a roast pig. You might get like a slice of bacon.
Oh, that sounds fine.
Yeah, like this would be like a representative tasting menu. This is the molecular gastronomy take. Get some
this
bacon
is a
shavings.
Deconstructed Lord of the Rings menu.
Yeah. This is just a BLT, Kathleen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bacon, tomato. I added some lettuce and bread for structure. It's lunchtime.
What other cards should we talk about? Oh,
I just want a BLT now.
we did. Yeah, me too. We did get further assaulted on the socials with there's a new trebuchet.
Yes.
People saw there was a trebuchet and they were like, "Hey, Loading Ready Run pronounces that wrong on purpose for jokes.
Yep.
Let's tell them about it." And you know what? I appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, it's the Mordor trebuchet, or the Mordor trebuchet. 2 and a black for a 1/4 defender. Was a defender. It doesn't look like much of a wall, but that's just what defenders are called. Whenever you attack with 1 or more goblins and or orcs. Actually, yeah, why is this a wall? Why not a construct? It must be mechanical, like can't be blocked by walls or something, because it doesn't really look wall-ish. And you can have defender on things that aren't wall. Anyway, don't worry about me. What was I saying? Whenever you attack with 1 or more goblins and or orcs, create a 2/1 colorless construct artifact creature token with flying named Ballistic Boulder that's tapped and attacking. sacrifice that token at the end of combat.
Oh my god. So it sits there, blocks all day, and then whenever you attack with anything else, it's like, I'll throw a boulder in.
Yeah. Woo! It's got flying too, so it's whew.
Yeah, exactly. That's amazing.
I think we've seen the token for it too. I don't know if those. I don't think these are on Scryfall yet, but the token has like a goblin
Strapped to it.
strapped to it. I think, which is maybe a little bit more in the Magic the Gathering realm of goblins than like the Lord of the Rings realm of goblins. But
Goblins are silly no matter where they are in the multiverse.
evidently, we've got. Oh, there's another bird. This is because we've got the bird lord that's
Gwai here.
Gwal here.
Gwai, yeah.
Who's blue-white, and we saw that blue one earlier, and we missed Landroval, Horizon Witness, who's white. So four and a white for a 3/4 bird noble with flying, and whenever two more creatures you control attack a player, target attacking creature without flying gains flying until end of turn.
Oh, that seems handy.
Yeah, so it's like a bigger Pegasus Courser with. Now that's interesting, because Pegasus Courser is just
if you attack.
whenever this attacks, another creature gets flying.
Yeah.
But this is whenever two or more creatures you control attack a player, target attacking creature without flying gains flying. But like that would work anyway. It's
It's templated slightly differently.
presumably for reasons.
Yeah.
I just don't know why. I guess because. So with Pegasus Courser, you have to. I assume I'm thinking of the right card. You have to target something, and you could target itself. Someone else drill down on this. It's too complicated for me to think about right now, but I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Attacking creature and it carries it with it. That's all you need to know. Somebody's going off with Landroval, Horizon Witness, and they are going into battle airborne.
Mm-hmm.
He's got something clutched in his talons there. It's some guy with a sword.
I think
Is
that's
Sam?
Frodo.
Yeah, I think that's Sam and Frodo. Being
Frodo or
rescued.
Sam, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what happens at the end. I think throw the ring away, presumably.
People
that
ask a lot of questions about why the Eagles didn't just go there to start with.
Oh,
And a question for which there are answers,
there
by
are
the way.
so many answers.
But I'm not going to get into them now. So I know why, but just want to make sure that you know why. Gosh, I don't know. This set seems really cool. Hey, check this out. So Strider, before he became Aragorn, Strider, Ranger of the North.
Some dude hanging out in the woods.
Two red green for a 4/4. The greatest traveler and huntsman of this age of the world. Legendary creature, human ranger, landfall. Surprise, secret little landfall trickling in there. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Okay. If that creature has power 4, then if that creature has power 4 or greater, so after the +1/+1, if that creature has power 4 or greater, it gains first strike until end of turn. Cool. You know what? For a legendary uncommon, a 4/4 with a landfall that makes things bigger and gets first strike, thumbs up from me.
I mean, it always hits itself.
Yeah, worst case, yeah.
But if you have, say, a ring bearer that you wish
right.
to get in, then he can assist your ring bearer.
I have not
because he knows the lay of the land. Oh, the flavor! Flavor!
I've not been factoring ring temptation into any of this. Oh gosh. Hey, did you see that they slightly fixed stab wound and or made wither crown better, depending on which they made stab wound a little worse or wither crown better, depending on which way you look at it.
Stab wound is perfect and needed no adjustment.
Stab wounds, I like stab wound a lot. Anyway, Morgul knife wound. The wound caused by a Morgul knife.
That's the knife the Nazgul wield.
Yeah. 1 and a black enchantment creature enchantment, sorry. Enchanted creature gets -3/-0 and has, at the beginning of your upkeep, exile this creature unless you pay 2 life. So it's either going to, it makes it weak, it's either going to kill it or it's going to stab wound you. So pretty cool. Hey, speaking of Nazgul, this is sweet. So Nazgul is not legendary. It's just a card. It's a Wraith Knight, which already sweet. 2 and a black for a 1/2 with Death Touch. Sure. When it enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. Hey, we know that mechanically that's good. We can talk more later about the flavor of it, but that's already been discussed extensively. Turns out people don't like playing mechanics that suck.
Yeah.
So here you go.
If something penalizes you for doing it, you're not going to do it.
Yeah. So anyway, ETB, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, put a +1/+1 counter on each wraith you control.
So it's a 2/3.
It's a 2/3 death touch.
For
Yes.
3. That's already a good rate as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and the ring tempts you, which is a bonus of its own. A deck can have up to 9 cards named Nazgul because
They
there
just
are
keep getting more
9
powerful.
Nazgul. And what they've done, and I love this, is that there are 9 different arts for this card. So you can do it however you like, but you can have 9 distinctly illustrated Nazgul in your deck, which is very, very cool to me. I think that's such a neat way of handling the Nazgul.
That's so great.
Yeah. It's very cool. And the Witch King is his own card as well, which I guess technically was he one of the 9 Nazgul? It doesn't really matter. The point is you can have 9 Nazgul, and I think that's a really, really cool way to handle it. And also, not every creature in this set can be legendary, though there is a cares about legendary sub-theme, which we've seen a couple times. But I guess, hey, let's check out the Witch King. There's a couple different Witch King cards. Interesting. So this is Witch King of Angmar. 3 black, mythic. 5/3 flying Wraith Noble.
Oh, so he'll get a +1/+1 counter from an Nazgul.
Exactly. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, each opponent sacrifices a creature that dealt combat damage to you. And the ring tempts you. Another ability, discard a card, and the Witch King of Angmar gets indestructible until end of turn. Tap it.
Perfect.
Very good stuff. There is also, that's the mythic one. There's also a rare one, which is Witch King Bringer of Ruin. 4 black for a 5/3 Wraith Noble with flying, so that's all the same. Whenever Witch King Bringer of Ruin attacks, defending player sacrifices a creature with the least power among creatures they control.
No living man may hinder me.
Yep. No living man may hinder me. Turns out...
We got some rules lawyers over here on the side of good.
Yeah, we do have... Where is it? Smite the Deathless. That's the one.
Yeah.
In response, Aowen says, no living man am I, on the flavor text for Smite the Deathless, which is 1 and a red, deals 3 damage to target creature. That creature loses indestructible until end of turn. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Neatly, it does kill both iterations of the Witch King of Angmar.
Yep.
So
that makes perfect.
Good stuff.
I mean, that would be a huge flavor fail if this card depicting his death did not actually kill his card in the game.
Yeah.
That seems pretty good, honestly. Also, for an instant for 2.
Yeah.
Right? And it's it says indestructible? No.
Mm-hmm. It's very cool. So there's also this is really neat. Rather than talk about specific cards, just to sort of wrap up a couple different kind of art treatments. So there's normal looking cards,
which we've seen.
There's the showcase frame.
Oh yes, the ring.
With the ring, which I love. Actually, I think it's really unique and interesting and cool, and you get a little less art because it's a circular thing, but I don't know, I think they hit the ratio just right to still get plenty of art, and you get the ring and the Elvish script. I think it's very sweet. I like this particular showcase frame quite a lot. There's also a few borderless panoramas.
Yes.
So there's one of Bilbo's party at the Shire with Gandalf and the Wizard's Rockets and Bilbo and Frodo.
Bilbo,
and
retired burglar.
Right. And the happy halfling. And I think it's 6 cards.
Delighted halfling.
Thank you. And they make a little sort of borderless panorama. There's a 4-card borderless panorama of the ring being thrown into Mount Doom, and it's the One Ring and Gollum and Sam and Frodo. And then there might be 1 or 2 others, but there's also the Battle of Pelennor Fields.
Just
it's 16 cards or something. It's a preposterous number of cards, and it just makes one giant panorama. And it's there's Éowyn and Aragorn and the Mirkwood Bats and the Witch King, and it's it looks. We can't. There's no way for us to like show it to you here on the podcast, but it looks amazing. It's this huge spread of a bunch of cards. It's really impressive. Obviously, like if you took all the text boxes away and looked at it just as like a single piece of art, it's very strangely laid out for obvious reasons because each part needs to be cut into like just a single card. But the way that it does look when it has all the cards and everything there it's very cool.
I don't know who's responsible for the art direction for this set, but good job.
I can tell you, I don't know about the art direction, but I can tell you Tyler Jacobson
did
the art for the Pelennor Fields.
Wow.
So yeah, like Orcish Bowmasters and Gothmog and the Mirkwood Bats and the Voracious Fell Beast and the Witch King and Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas and Merry and Dunland Crebain and a bunch of stuff.
Is that a
No, Dunland Crebain is from a different panorama, sorry.
Okay, I was going to say, is Dunland Crebain a legendary creature?
No, it's a bird horror. It's 2 and a black for a 1/1 flying bird. And when it enters the battlefield, amass orcs 2.
Oh, okay.
So it's a 1/1 for 3 that comes with a 2/2.
So you get 3 power. One of it's in the air. That's fine. That seems like a black common to me.
Yeah. That's actually, so this is interesting. We just had Preening Champion in March the Machine.
Oh, you got 3 power for 3, but 2 of it was flying.
Yeah, and I think I prefer that to this.
Yes.
But amassing orcs might be relevant in a way that I'm undervaluing at this moment in time.
I mean, I'm just evaluating it from I get 3 power for 3 mana, which like in black, to have no drawback and to have even one of that flying is honestly like good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because black creatures have typically been a little bit weaker because they get the better removal, right?
Yeah. Cool.
Black can't have all the good toys.
No. I think one of the other panoramas is the Last March of the Ents as well, with like Merry and Pippin and Fangorn and the Last March of the Ents.
Oh.
And I think that's also where Nasty End is as well, and I think that's where that Dunland Crebain. There's a lot of new words we're learning, and a lot of words that for years we've played Magic Card or Metal Band. This set's ruined it because there's a lot of metal bands that take their name directly from Lord of the Rings stuff.
I looked it up. There's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do an exhaustive list at the PPR, but
Off the top of my head, Gorgoroth.
Yes.
And Amon Amarth.
Yes.
And others. I don't remember
there's
them
a band called Gandalf.
That's okay, fine. I guess we'll count that one.
Oh yeah, like basically, I mean, I can look it up. There's a long history of black metal bands being named after all the nasty bits from Lord of the Rings.
Like I said, I'm not even that invested in Lord of the Rings myself. I think the movies are great, but most of what I've picked up has just been through
cultural
osmosis. But I'm really excited about this set, I gotta say.
Yeah, it looks like a fun set. Like it looks like it's like a fun limited environment.
Mm-hmm.
Imho from my, deeply smooth brain monkey takes on that monolith. But I don't know. It looks fun and flavorful to me, so I'm excited.
Me too. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Tap Tap Concede. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with us. Until we talk again, I'm going to remind you that this show is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Please check out cardkingdom.com/loadingreadyrun. Get yourself some Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. Magic the Gathering universes beyond the Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth. Well, this one just says set boosters. You don't have to buy set boosters. You can buy whatever you like.
Buy draft boosters.
Tell them we sent you. Ask for a button. This show is also brought to you by you and your kind support of our Patreon, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, or by giving us super thanks. But we do thank you. We really appreciate it. Until next time, I have been Graham, joined by Kathleen.
Woohoo!
And James on Tech. Heather gets these online. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. And we will talk to you next time. Bye, everybody.